It's interesting to reflect on the fact that back in 2022, when the Ukrainians were essentially told to walk away from this agreement, we have confirmation of this from Ukrainian politicians, from Victoria Nuland, from Boris Johnson. He's the only one who refuses to acknowledge that he played a role in this. But we know this from many politicians. Back then, for some reason, security guarantees were the condition for the West walking away from supporting Ukraine. Now, the West's position has turned around 180 degrees. It requires security guarantees. The Russians look like they're going to be going back to Istanbul, and they're approaching the negotiations that they're trying to kickstart with Ukraine, except not between the presidents, but between teams working on specific issues, including borders. They are approaching these as Istanbul Plus, and they've said so on many occasions. And the trap here, and this is what's very difficult for the Ukrainians and for the West, especially the Europeans, is that without the Russians being brought into these guarantees, bilateral guarantees for Ukraine by Western countries simply do not matter. And we know that for a fact because, as I mentioned on a previous show, let me repeat this because it's important. Ukraine has bilateral security agreements with 25 Western states, all 7 of the G7 members, including the United States. It was signed on the 13th of June of 2024 under President Biden. Ukraine has a 100-year agreement with Great Britain. None of that matters today because here we are cycling back to security guarantee talk. And the major part of the reason why all of those bilateral security guarantees don't matter is that everything depends on what the Russians do.
Right.
And that makes it impossible to settle this without security guarantees being given to Russia at the same time as they are being given by everyone, including the Russians, to Ukraine.